Hi, I'm over here in Brookline Village at the Emerald Necklace Crossing. I have a bicycle here that I have converted from an old bike to an electric bike, and I want to take a ride downtown and see how far I get and see what some of the issues are. So come on along. This ride starts at Route 9 and the Emerald Necklace Crossing in Brookline Village. Car traffic is light, even though this is midday on a Wednesday in May. This bike travels up to 20 miles per hour, and a bell is important to warn pedestrians. I quickly realized that my top speed of 20 miles per hour is more suited to a bike lane than a bike path. After Riverway Park, we follow the Fenway. One advantage to building your own e-bike as opposed to buying an e-bike is that you could control the quality of each component. E-bikes use 24 volt, 36 volt, or 48 volt batteries. The 36 volt battery top speed is about 22 miles per hour. Since many states are starting to enact laws which define e-bikes as having a top speed of 20 miles per hour, I did not want to build a vehicle that would exceed this standard and might not be allowed on bike paths. E-bikes are silent and relatively fast. I did not want a vehicle that would intimidate pedestrians and cyclists on bike paths. My contact information and conversion costs are at the end of this video. The front hub motor generates a lot of torque. The first time I ran the motor, I broke both axle slots. This meant I had to replace the front fork. To handle the torque, I installed 2 torque arms on the front fork. My contact information and conversion costs are at the end of this video. Once I got the e-bike running, spokes in my rear wheel started breaking. I realized that the weight of the battery was too heavy for the wheel. I ended up installing a heavy-duty wheel. Up Park Street to Beacon Hill and past the Massachusetts State House. Down Beacon, left on Arlington, and right on Commonwealth Ave, through Back Bay and Kenmore Square.
You got a motor in that?
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, you bet.
I'm following you like you go up the hill and you're not working.
You got it. You got it. I can do about 20 miles an hour. Because I had to fit the throttle, bell, headlight, and mileage display on the handlebars, I moved the shifters to the gooseneck. To extend the range beyond 16 miles, one could install another battery using the bottle cage bolts on the crossbar. The e-bike allows you to zip through most traffic using bike lanes. A left off Beacon and up the rise on Kent Street is the final half mile to where I started. Now that you have the feel for the ride, let's talk about specifics. This bike has a front-wheel hub motor from Golden Motors in Canada. It uses a 36-volt, 12-amp-hour battery that weighs about 12 pounds. The battery mounted on the rear carrier raises the center of gravity. This could change the e-bike ride in snow or bad weather. As I mentioned, I had to replace the rear wheel with a heavy-duty wheel, and I mounted a double kickstand for stability. I moved the shifters to the gooseneck because I had to fit the throttle, bell, headlight, and mileage display on the handlebars. I used Velcro to secure excess cables. Be sure that brake pads don't rub on the wheel rims. This can lower your mileage considerably. To get an idea of the range, here's a map of the different rides I've made around the area. In general, the range is 15 to 16 miles on a charge. This, of course, depends on the terrain and headwinds. When stopped at a light or going up a hill, I usually pedal to reduce the drain on the battery. This mode of non-polluting traffic could be a real alternative to a 10 to 12 mile round-trip commute in good weather. If I could recharge the battery for 6 hours during the day, my range would double.